So Paramount is doubling and tripling down on theatrical releases at CinemaCon. They're saying they're going to do a minimum of 30 movies a year.
Well, they were saying that before, but as I said then, I'll say now, that's an awful lot of movies. And so you're probably going to get several duds for every successful movie.
I was going to say, like, I think you're better off having like one really good movie a month than having a bunch of crap, but they're going to own so much.
That's true.
It's like, you know, they're going to, I don't know. We'll see. So we'll talk about that. And then people kind of calling David Ellison out because he couldn't be bothered to go to Cory Booker's hoedown in Washington. Because he said he had death in the family, but he was able to go to CinemaCon.
The next day, yeah.
The very next day. And some other Paramount problems. There's some updates on the Last Airbender situation. People think it was actually somebody within Paramount that was leaking it, which I speculated on, but they seem to think that is what's actually happening, because who else would have access?
Who else would have it?
Who would have access to the movie, right? So let's talk about all this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
This is CLOWNFISH TV, and this is the utter state of the theatrical industry. Actually, looks like a lot of good movies are going to come out this year.
Yeah, I was looking at the side of all the stuff that they're having teasers for, and I'm like, oh, I want to see what that looks like. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see what that looks like, you know?
Yeah, I was kind of getting into it with people on Twitter today because they really hate the Street Fighter trailer.
Right, it looks good.
I think it looks fun. I don't know, because I mean, I was there, man. Like, the people that are complaining, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people that were complaining about it, like, weren't there when Street Fighter came out. And I'm like, it captures that early 90s vibe perfectly. Like, I lived in arcades when I was in my teens. Like, and Street Fighter 2 was huge. Mortal Kombat was huge. I don't know. I think it looks like a lot of fun, but whatever. I'll go see it.
Yeah, we're going to see it. I want to see it too.
Yeah, we'll go see it. But anyway, yeah, Paramount coming out with 30 movies a year. That's like a movie every other week, or like.
Yeah, that's a lot of movies. I mean, that's
a lot of movies.
You know, yeah, every couple weeks.
And really, I don't even know if the movies matter so much as the popcorn buckets. I think the popcorn buckets are what make the money now, but Variety has it. David Ellison triples down on theatrical.
I was going to say, he's already said this repeatedly.
Yeah, triples down on CinemaCon as Paramount commits to 45-day release window, a minimum of 30 movies a year. And I can just hear people screeching. It's like, I bet they're all going to be anti-woke movies.
Well, they're not all going to be winners. I can tell you that. If you're cramming out 30 movies, you're going to like maybe get 5 good ones, for every, you know. It's not going to be great. I don't think.
You have to find the kernels of corn in the poop.
Yeah,
that's what
and the 45-day window, which is what standard. But he's already been saying this, and it doesn't matter. It's not stopping Hollywood. Now there's like 2,000 people signing that thing. Don't let them have it, Screech. I'm like, but it's going to cost us jobs. Well, not the way he's talking.
No, and now it's interesting though. Just kind of a side note, Ted Sarandos is like, they're saying he's theater curious, that they're looking at maybe releasing.
That's funny.
Releasing more movies in the theaters. Actually, with K-pop Demon Hunters doing well, you know, they should have actually made Stranger Things 5. They did release it theatrically, but they should have made it good and made it a movie. And
it's too long. It would have been like a 3-part movie. Yeah,
the trilogy or whatever. Anyway, the noise of political and artistic pressure be damned. David Ellison just wants to go to the movies. The Skydance mogul made a surprise appearance at CinemaCon on Thursday.
Yeah, it's a surprise because he couldn't go to the court.
The Cory
or
Booker
whatever,
hoedown.
the Senate hearing. It wasn't a court hearing. Senate hearing about the consolidation and him wanting to buy Warner Brothers. He didn't go because he had a death in the family and had to go to a funeral, and that was yesterday. But he got over it fast enough to come to CinemaCon today, to surprise everybody.
There you go. You know, but he said, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's kind of funny, actually.
It's kind of funny.
You know, I'm sorry he had a death in the family, but I think it's funny that next day, can't go to the Senate hearing because there's a funeral.
I got
and
the
the next day,
lung.
he's like, hi, surprise everybody at CinemaCon. It's kind of funny.
I got the black lung pot. Well, honestly,
black lung.
He probably came up with it. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but he might have come up with an excuse just to get out of it because he knew it was going to be a political grilling.
Well, I know that's what's funny about it.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious.
All right. Directly addressed the global movie theater owners and it made some big promises for his vision about a combined Paramount Warner Brothers. People are calling it Parabros. Ellison and his team. That would be kind of funny. Pair of bros. Ellison and his team are currently awaiting regulatory approval to acquire Warner Brothers less than a year after sealing the deal for Paramount. Ellison mic dropped at the LA event, or the Las Vegas event, by announcing that as of today, Paramount Pictures will offer a 45-day exclusive window for their movies to play in theaters. Oh, it's this guy who always tries to get people. I don't like that guy. Other studios have been pledging to give exhibitors more time to pack audiences in their theaters before moving to paid and free. Universal's 45 days in 2027. Interesting. So Ellison said Paramount will commit to a 3-month period for their movies to live on streaming video on demand platforms, a paid digital release equivalent to a rental or home entertainment purchase before the titles head to Paramount Plus. So they're not just going to, because I always hated that. Like, okay, the movie came out in the theater 2 weeks ago, and now you can buy it on Vudu for $30, and then 2 weeks from now it's going to be free on Disney Plus.
It's usually a 45-day window. That was what kind of got established during COVID, and it's kind of stayed that way.
I think what is going on is that you can tell how successful a movie was based on how quickly it gets dumped onto digital. If it was a flop in the theaters, it's like it's gonna be dumped on digital in like 2 or 3 weeks because they gotta make their money back, right?
Sometimes they were releasing things on digital at the same time they were in the theaters, and they were still doing well on digital, like the first FNAF movie and stuff.
Yeah, that was crazy. Well, people wanted
that was Paramount, wasn't it?
That was Paramount, and people wanted to be part of that experience. So that's what we could talk like real quick here about the Avatar movie. The Avatar, the Aang movie was supposed to be a theatrical release. Mm-hmm. They decided to punt it to Paramount Plus, and now it's been leaked, and people think that maybe people within Paramount or Nickelodeon leaked it deliberately to try to push the Ellisons into releasing it theatrically. Here's the thing. Even if it's out there for free that people can buy, one, good luck. It's out there, but you have to dig for it, right? And it's not optimal. Avatar, I think, has enough of a fan base that people would still go to the theater for it.
Here's the thing, though. You would have to have a date scheduled. You would have had a marketing plan in place. And if they pulled that from theatrical, they don't have any of that. So it would take months to put that back in play.
Do it as a limited engagement thing. Like, hey, surprise. Because they did with K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, they did. They did it like a limited thing, and they got it in there. It was like
it's one weekend.
Massive release, you can't do that. A limited, you probably could do. Interesting, though, I wanted to point out this. They said that they're going to have 15 films in 2026, and they had 8 in 2025 at Paramount. So half the films will be there, and then I'm guessing the other films will be from Warner Brothers. But here's the thing. I don't know if that's a brag or not, because they're not all good. You need a lot of good films. That's the thing.
That's kind of what happened with Disney, right? When they were pressing them on Disney Plus, and they're like, is it going to be, quantity over quality or vice versa? And Bob Chapek wouldn't give an answer. And here we found out what the answer was. They're basically going to shit a lot of stuff out on Disney Plus, and a lot of it's going to be bad, right? If you want to turn the box office around, just having more bad movies is not the solution.
I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, but I'm just like, just because you have more doesn't necessarily mean, it's better. It just, quantity is not necessarily better than quality. And if they can get both, if they can nail both, then they'd be kicking all kinds of ass. Disney can't nail both.
So are all these people are they like Trump thumpers now because they're supporting the Ellisons?
I have no idea.
Yeah, you can't keep track of who the bad guys.
The thing is, it's stupid. Like, some people are just doing jobs. Their politics have nothing to do with it, which is what always went on for years. Who cared? No one knew. It doesn't matter. They just want work. But it's funny to me because people are screaming about how they want jobs, and then it's going to shrink the amount of work. But they're saying no, it's not. We're going to up the amount of work. Yeah. But it's not about the amount of films. It's about like controlling the narrative, and they don't want them to have it because Mark Ruffalo was going to be at that hearing, screaming and shrieking and wringing of hands about it. Meanwhile, when Disney bought Fox, which was owned by people on the right, and Disney was leaning left, completely fine with it. And you heard crickets. There wasn't like signatures and petitions. It's gonna ruin the amount of jobs. There wasn't any of that talk because they thought they were winning.
Yeah, that's what this is really about. I mean, this is where we are right now. It definitely is tribalism.
Audiences don't give a shit. They just want good movies.
They just want good movies, right? And here's the thing. We said before, like, I personally don't think it's good that one entity controls this much of the entertainment industry. But the reason we're here is that these companies made horrible decisions. They blew themselves up trying to be Netflix. And it would have been the same situation with Netflix. It probably would have been worse. So I think, honestly, Paramount, if you're looking for theatrical releases and you're looking for more movies, I think Paramount was probably the better of the two choices. Neither one was ideal, but
Paramount made more sense, yeah.
Paramount made more sense. They actually are going to release movies in theaters. I think Sarandos, I mean, they're saying he's theatrical curious. I think he would have said whatever he had to say to get that paperwork through, and then he would have just been like, you know what, screw it. We're just going to, all the Batman movies are going to Netflix.
Well, it doesn't matter how many times Ellison says this stuff. They're going to still scream about it and have a hissy, so it doesn't really matter. Day that ends in Y. So are we going to wrap this up?
We're going to wrap it up. All right, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.